Howdy folks, and welcome back to War Thunder with the mighty Jingles. Yes, that's right, War Thunder. I know, who are you? What have you done with the real Jingles? Go on, get it out your systems. I can wait. This is Karlmar, by the way, in the Curtis-Wright XP-55 Ascender, and what the hell is that Thunderbolt doing? Look at this. Shit's given nil. Aircraft can't collide with each other when they're on the runway in War Thunder, but if Karlmar had started pulling up, there would have been, and there we go, one member of the team has already crashed on takeoff. Most likely exactly the same thing happened. So he waits, makes sure he's not about to pull the nose up right into somebody, checking above him. And it's not often you have to ensure you do a safe takeoff in War Thunder, but this was very definitely one of them. So, War Thunder, realistic battle. And I realise that hardly anybody comes to my channel for War Thunder content anymore, although there are still a few of you out there, and hardly anybody's going to see this video, but I don't care because I do enjoy watching a very, very well played War Thunder realistic or simulator air battle. And this is definitely one of those. Karlmar in the Curtis-Wright XP-55 Ascender, sarcastically referred to as the Ascender. Haha, I see what you did there. A highly unusual looking aircraft. This aircraft was developed as a result of a requirement issued, struggling to think of the right word there, a requirement issued by the US Army Air Corps in 1939 for, wait until you see this shopping list. They wanted an aircraft that was going to have superior speed, superior rate of climb, superior armament, superior pilot visibility, as well as being cheap to build and cheap to maintain. Not asking for much, are they? And so the US aircraft manufacturing industry basically turned around and said, well, why don't you ask for an aircraft with ray guns and anti-gravity engines while you're asking for it? And the Curtis and Wright aircraft corporations went away, put their heads together and came up with this thing. It's a pusher aircraft. Not unique, certainly. Other nations, Japan and Germany for example, designed their own pusher aircraft, some of which you can actually play in War Thunder. But the XP-55 is the one in the American tech tree. It's armed with a pair of 20mm cannons and a pair of 50 caliber machine guns, although the, well, not exactly a production version, but the design of the Ascender, while it was initially going to have this weapon configuration, the two 20mm cannons weren't satisfactory, and so they were dropped in favour of adding an additional two 50 caliber machine guns into the nose. Now the benefit of having the engine at the back of the aircraft like this is that you can pack some pretty heavy weapons into the nose of the aircraft and you don't have to worry about things like gun convergence, which definitely is a factor when you're flying an aircraft with the weapons mounted in the wings, like for example Spitfires, Mustangs, aircraft like that. Gun convergence basically means, well, if the weapons on the aircraft are mounted in the wings and they're firing straight ahead, if you're shooting at a target 400 metres away for example, a lot of those bullets are going to miss, and so the guns would be set for the point of aim to converge, i.e. all of the bullets would meet, if you like, at a certain point, at a distance specified in front of the aircraft. So, for example, if you were to set the gun convergence to 300 metres, then the optimal range for firing at an aircraft would be at 300 metres. This is where the majority of your bullets are going to be on target. Of course, then you have the problem that when you're engaging a target that's closer than 300 metres, a lot of your bullets are going to miss, and if you're engaging a target that's further away than 300 metres, say it with me, a lot of your bullets are going to miss. If all of your weapons are packed into the nose of the aircraft, however, then gun convergence just isn't an issue. Pretty much everything that you fire, providing your aim is good, is going to be on target. And that's certainly one advantage that aircraft like the XP-55 Ascender enjoyed over other contemporary aircraft in the US Army Air Corps at the time. Another good thing about the XP-55 was that it had a very, very good rate of climb. And that certainly translates well into War Thunder as well. This is a very, very fast climbing aircraft. It also tends to hold its speed remarkably well after coming out of a dive. Unfortunately for the Curtis and Wright aircraft corporations, those were really the only ways that they actually met the required design specifications. In almost every other category, the XP-55 either wasn't any better than existing aircraft or it just wasn't very good at all. The elevators suffered from poor feedback to the pilot, When at low speeds, pilots would often complain that they just couldn't feel any load on the elevators at all, and here in War Thunder you will find that when you pull back on the stick, the aircraft doesn't really nose up as well as you would like it to. Overall manoeuvrability in this aircraft is not very good. It's an energy fighter. Its advantages lie in its diving speed and its rate of climb. One interesting feature about the aircraft is that in the cockpit the pilot had a lever that when pulled it would jettison the propeller blades. This was to ensure that he didn't cut his own head off when he was diving out of the aircraft in the event that he had to bail out. For the moment, Karlmar has set his sights on this BF-109F, who's hot on the tail of a friendly P-38, and... oh well, better luck next time. Still, where's he gone? No, he's still on the tail of the P-38. P-38's hit, he's on fire, he is almost certainly not going to recover from that. BF-109, however, is sitting on his tail, riding him down, making sure of the kill. Come on, Karlmar, my son. Nope, missed again. BF-109 flips it over. No, wisely decides not to try following that guy down. Instead, regains the altitude, gives himself some more options. There were far too many other enemy aircraft loitering around down there at low level. Still looking for this BF-109, but whoa, that is bad news. P-51 down there in serious trouble. 3 enemy aircraft on his tail, including the BF-109. Karlmar cuts his throttle, does not want to overshoot and end up in front of the guns of all 3 of these guys. I think he hit the Focke-Wulf. Oh, that was close. Yes, the Focke-Wulf's down. Karlmar, throttle up, throttle up, throttle up. Bandits on your tail. Where are they going? Where are they going? Spitfire joining the party down there. Always nice to see more friendly aircraft. Where are the rest of them? There's the BF-109G, very powerful, very heavy aircraft. There's the BF-109F, who's still scoring damage on that Mustang. Karlmar very, very wisely deciding not to get involved in a low altitude turning fight in an XP-55 Ascender. Not with other friendly aircraft. Getting stuck in, instead, opens up the distance. Checks there's nothing ready to jump on him. Looking around, puts it into a climb. Everything bad behind him seems to be engaged by somebody else. He's made it. He's safe. Well, except for the flak. Now that he's no longer in immediate danger of taking a 20mm cannon shell to the face, he stops, turns around, has a look around. Looks like the BF-109 down there is engaging an XP-50, and he's on fire. How much attention is the BF-109 paying? He might be zoomed in and tunnel visioning. No, he's not that stupid. Karlmar damages his left flap, but he's taken some damage to the nose of his aircraft in return. The BF-109 not turning around and pursuing Karlmar, staying on the tail of that XP-50, determined to force him down and claim the kill. And I'm pretty sure he's got him. Swinging it around, facing Karlmar again. And Karlmar definitely came off better in that engagement. BF-109's oil tank is hit. Is he pursuing? He's in the turn. He's definitely pulling it around. Badly damaged, but well, he can still make it back, and it looks like he has in fact decided to disengage, which is just as well, because there is another BF-109 coming in. Whoa, that was close. He really likes flying close to the knuckle here, doesn't he? But there up above, with the altitude advantage, yet another BF-109, the first BF-109, with the amount of damage he sustained to his flaps and his oil tank, very wisely deciding to run for home and try to nurse that thing back in for an emergency landing before his engine seizes up. Second BF-109, however, holds all the cards. He's at higher altitude and he's marginally faster, but he can get much faster just by putting the aircraft into a shallow dive, and Karlmar knows there's no way he can outrun this guy. So he has to try to force the engagement. BF-109 is going to see him turning, come in for the dive, and this gives him the opportunity, after avoiding his attack, by using the superb climb rate of the XP-55 to gain some altitude of his own, and suddenly everything's even. BF-109 traded his altitude for speed. He's now faster than Karlmar, but Karlmar's got the altitude advantage. Karlmar starts trading altitude for speed in return. BF-109 doing the reverse, climbing low on speed. Karlmar pulling a very, very, very risky turn here. What's the BF-109 done? He's going for the altitude again, but he was already low on speed after the initial climb. And he's making himself a sitting duck here. Karlmar fighting with the poor elevator response, clips the BF-109, damages him, not critical. Karlmar now very, very low on speed, but the BF-109 bleeding off further speed by going into a turn and then into a climb. Karlmar again fighting the elevator, trying to get the nose up, and he's got him. Lovely kill, and not a second too soon, as he's almost at stall speed. In fact, he may very well have been at stall speed as he wrestles with the controls to try to get this thing in level flight and pick up some speed once more. Lovely kill. Aided in large part by the BF-109 pilot, who did everything wrong. Karlmar, of course, following Murphy's laws of combat there, never interrupt the enemy when they're making a mistake. Question is, though, how much ammunition does he have left? He hasn't used that much. I mean, he's taken shots at a couple of targets. Got no ammunition indicator here in the replay. Is he game for some more? So, Karlmar's in a kind of good news, bad news situation. That fella over there, heading for the airfield, is the only surviving aircraft on his team. The bad news is that there are 4 enemy aircraft still flying, so it's a 2-on-1 situation. Now, only 2 of those enemy aircraft are actually fighters, a pair of BF-109s. The other 2 are those HS-129s. Now, they're ground attack aircraft, and they're not particularly good ground attack aircraft, but both Karlmar and that surviving Spitfire are in the unenviable position of, well, having to turn themselves into ground targets, because they both need to land to repair, refuel, and rearm. And the Spitfire is being forced to do exactly that right now, just as a BF-109 is about ready to pounce on him. Second HS-129 off in the far distance over there, he's just farming ground kills. He's got nothing to do with what's going on here. Spitfire on the runway, BF-109 diving on him. Brave move from the BF-109 pilot, because the flak is ferocious around these airfields. Spitfire's managed to get airborne again, but he's going to be low on speed, obviously low on altitude. BF-109 hosing him again. Has he got him? Not yet. Karlmar, he's got him. Karlmar is now alone against 4 enemy aircraft. Only 1 fighter aircraft in the immediate vicinity, however, this BF-109, and he is being harried ferociously by the airfield defences. The HS-219 behind him made us think he was going for that area ground target towards the south there, but no, he's trying to go for Karlmar as well. Karlmar angling for a shot at this guy. Nope, he's missed. He's not turning to pursue. Here comes the HS-129. Not a particularly good aircraft, but it does have a lot of weapons in the nose. Where's the BF-109 going? It looks like he's bugging out, which gives Karlmar the opportunity to turn around and nail this HS-129 in a 1-on-1 rather than being in a 2-on-1. How much distance has he managed to... That should be enough. 2.35 kilometers. Brings it around. Plenty of time. Perfect. Lines it up. Head-on pass. Nails the pilot. Takes very, very minor damage from the HS-129. So that BF-109 is now running for home. He's obviously out of ammunition, otherwise he would have stayed to double up on Karlmar with that 129 that Karlmar just shot down. So he's out of it for the immediate future. The other Henschel is just, well, he's dozens of kilometres away, just amusing himself shooting up ground targets. That's what they do. Not an immediate threat, but he's steadily running down the ticket counter by hosing those ground targets away. The second BF-109 is actually the guy that Karlmar was engaged in a dogfight with earlier. He's the fellow who had his flaps shot off and his oil tank ruptured. Now, he's obviously returned to base in order to land, repair, refuel and rearm. He will have done that by now, and he's going to be on his way back looking for revenge. So, while in practice it's a 3-on-1 situation, It's really only a 2-on-1 because there are only 2 fighter aircraft and the attack aircraft, the Henschel, who has just managed to crash. Okay. Alright, reassessment of the situation. While the Henschel was never going to be an issue anyway, because he was just hoovering up ground targets, he's just taken himself out of the picture by crashing into the ground targets that he was trying to kill. One BF-109 on his way back to base in order to rearm and then come back. The other BF-109 is going to be heading in this direction. So there are 2 enemy aircraft still up there, but Karlmar shouldn't have to fight more than one of them at once. So Karlmar himself, being damaged and probably very, very low on ammunition at this point, is going to take advantage of being left alone for a moment to put this thing down and get some repairs and ammunition resupply underway himself. He's lined up very, very nicely with the airfield. One of the peculiarities of the Ascender, well, 2 peculiarities of the Ascender, is that this was the first aircraft that Curtis produced that had tricycle landing gear. And you can see at the rear there's a dorsal tail fin sticking out of the bottom, which means that you have to bring this thing in. Oh, that's very, very close to the trees. You have to bring this thing in as level as possible on a landing, otherwise, well, you don't want to drag that thing at the back along the ground, which means that you can't really flare the aircraft on landing the way you do with aircraft with more traditional undercarriage that don't have dirty great big fins sticking out the bottom of the arse of the aircraft. You can see how close that was a very, very good landing, but you can see how close and very little ground clearance there is there between the bottom of that tail fin and the landing strip. That was a very, very nice landing, Karlmar. Well done. Uh-oh. There he is. Watch out for the Hun in the sun, you sneaky German bastard. There he is. That's the guy that Karlmar forced to return to base earlier, and yeah. At that kind of range, there is absolutely no way Karlmar wants to be caught sitting on the landing strip. So, he floors the throttle, gets this thing airborne again. Oh, he's closing the distance rapidly, but he's going to have to run the gauntlet of the base anti-aircraft fire. Not a lot of distance left between the 2 of them. Karlmar brings it round to get his guns and what little ammunition he has remaining pointing in the right direction. Look at the flak going in. That's not a position you want. Oh, he's got him! He's got him! Nice! Right, well done. Now you can land and... oh, crap, here comes... okay, well, he clearly has some ammunition left. But he's just a little bit too late. If he'd managed to get back here in time, along with the first BF-109, one of them would have drawn the anti-aircraft fire and the other one would have been able to pick Karlmar off as an easy, low-speed, low-altitude target. Karlmar's built with as much speed as he can, and look at this. Really, really pushing the envelope here. BF-109's turn to dive, doesn't like it, brakes, Karlmar fires off a very, very short burst, doesn't hit him. BF-109 doesn't take the bait, stays at high altitude. Karlmar, almost at stall speed, has no option but to put this thing down on the ground in order to get some speed up again. Back under the protective envelope provided by the base's anti-aircraft defences. Didn't help the Spitfire though. Wildly turning, trying to ensure that that BF-109 does not get a perfect diving attack run on him, and oh, he's been shot down. Well, it looks like the base's anti-aircraft defences are 1 for 3. Which is kind of surprising, because every time I go anywhere near an enemy airbase in War Thunder Realistic Battle, I get nailed every single time. But finally, they did what they were supposed to do. And Karlmar emerges victorious in the Curtis-Wright XP-55 Ascender, going alone against 4 enemies, and alright, he only shot 2 of them down, but it's the final score that counts. 4 confirmed aerial victories, 3 of them against superior aircraft. Karlmar in the XP-55 Ascender. I hope you enjoyed today's video, folks, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.